My own view in the area of abortion is that I am opposed to it as a matter of birth control or otherwise. The subject of abortion is a valid one, in my view, for legislative action, subject to any constitutional restraints or limitations.
Do you expect to overrule the Roe versus Wade Supreme Court decision if you're confirmed?
Senator, I don't think it would be proper for me to answer that question. Let's assume that I have people arguing before me to do it or not to do it. I think it's quite a thing to be arguing to somebody whom you know has made a representation in the course of his confirmation hearings.
If I had an undisclosed intention or a fixed view on a particular case, an absolutely concluded position on a particular case or a particular issue, perhaps I might be obligated to disclose that to you. I do not have any such views with reference to privacy or abortion.
I have not got any agenda on what should be done with Roe v. Wade if that case were brought before me. I will listen to both sides of that case. I have not made up my mind, and I do not go on the court saying I must go one way or I must go another way.
I have no reason or agenda to prejudge the issue or to predisposed to rule one way or the other on the issue of abortion, which is a difficult issue.
This is something central to a woman's life, to her dignity. It's a decision that she must make for herself. And when government controls that decision for her, she is being treated as less than a fully adult human responsible for her own choices. Mm-hmm. It is essential to woman's equality with man that her choice, that she be the decision maker, that her choice be controlling.
The case of Roe versus Wade has been the law for 21 years or more, and it was recently affirmed by the Supreme Court of the United States in the case of Casey. That is the law. The questions that you're putting to me are matters of how that basic right applies, where it applies, under what circumstances. And I don't think I should go into those for the reason that those are likely to be the subject of litigation in front of the court.
Your testimony read to this effect, and it's been widely quoted. Roe is the settled law of the land. Did you mean settled for you, settled only for your capacity as a circuit judge, or settled beyond that?
Well, beyond that, it's settled as a precedent of the court, entitled to respect under principles of stare decisis. It is settled as a precedent of the court, yes.
Do you believe it is the settled law of the land?
Roe versus Wade is an important precedent of the Supreme Court. It was decided in 1973, so it's been on the books for a long time. It has been challenged on a number of occasions. It's a very important precedent.
Is it the settled law of the land?
It is a precedent. If settled means that it can't be re-examined, then that's one thing. If settled means that it is a precedent that is entitled to respect to stare decisis, and all of the factors that I've mentioned come into play, including the reaffirmation and all of that, then it is a precedent that is protected, entitled to respect under the doctrine of stare decisis in that way.
In your opinion, is Roe settled law?
The court's decision in Planned Parenthood versus Casey reaffirmed the core holding of Roe. That is the precedent of the court and settled in terms of the holding of the court.
Do you believe the Constitution requires that the health of the mother be protected in any statute restricting access to abortion?
I do think that the continuing holding of Roe and Doe versus Bolton, is that women's life and women's health have to be protected in abortion regulation.
Can you tell me whether Roe was decided correctly?
Senator, again, I would tell you that Roe versus Wade, decided in 1973, is a precedent in the United States Supreme Court. If I were to start telling you which are my favorite precedents or which are my least favorite precedents, or if I viewed precedent in that fashion, I would be tipping my hand and suggesting to litigants that I've already made up my mind about their cases. That's not a fair judge.